But your wife also kind of got integrated in the business, right?
My father and I were flipping houses together, and we had a house staged. And my wife goes, I could do better than that. So she ended up staging our next house and then a house after that. And then she was putting it out on socials. And then other people were saying, hey, do you mind staging for me? And then about a year or so later, I was like, we probably should turn this into a real business, right?
We're here at Dealmaker Orlando 2025. I'm here with a good friend, Forrest, for Virginia, right?
Absolutely.
And we're really excited about this incredible event. I just wanted to take a quick few minutes to ask a few questions of Forrest, who's an incredible investor, has been investing for, a few years. If you could just kind of share a little bit about, your background, your story, and how you kind of transition into where you're at now from where you started.
Yeah, great. I'm a career electrician. And then 19 years ago, I started an electrical business. And then I got tired of customers. So I said, I'm going to go flip my own houses and get rid of my customers, which I call bosses. Yeah. So I did that 11 years ago and failed forward and made some mistakes and got hooked up with this group about 10 years ago and started learning how to do it right.
Wow. I had no clue they've been around for that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
10 years.
For a long time. So then now we just, fix, flip, wholesale, buy and hold in Virginia.
Yeah. One thing, we had breakfast a few days ago. One thing that I really liked about, your journey and kind of where you're at now is, something that we talk about is doing it as a family business. And you were mentioning that, you're obviously kind of doing the fix and flip rentals and that sort of stuff, but your wife also kind of got integrated in the business, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool how that happened. So my father and I were flipping houses together, and we had a house staged. And my wife goes, I could do better than that. So she ended up staging our next house and then a house after that. And then she was putting it out on socials. And then other people were saying, hey, do you mind staging for me? And then about a year or so later, I was like, we probably should turn this into a real business, right? And so now, yeah, she's a powerhouse in Richmond. Her line in Richmond is, we're not the biggest, but we're the best. So she really, does a great job, great customer service, and it all more from, that decision I made to flip houses.
Awesome. So you guys focus on the Richmond, Virginia area, or what market?
Yeah,
Are you
my paid marketing is in the Richmond, Virginia area, but I do have some SEO websites that are more around Virginia. So I buy and hold in cash flowing markets in Virginia, and I do like the fix and flip and the wholesaling in Richmond area.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've done, really well. Obviously, as you said, we all go through different learning stages, right? We make mistakes, and sometimes we make them ourselves, and sometimes we learn from the mistakes of others. And that's kind of the important reason to be at these events, is because we get the ability to learn from the experience of others. Did want to ask, out of all the things that you've done, and obviously we're here because this is more focused on lending, private lending, whether borrowing, become a better borrower, or how to tighten up and become a better lender. Out of everything you've done, what would you say that you enjoy the most, or where do you see yourself?
I have no love for used houses. So what enjoys me the most is the satisfaction of solving a problem and making a deal and making as many winners in a transaction as possible. So, where I'm focused on this year is creating a wholesale model that brings in the financing. I didn't invent it, but it's something that we want to bring into our group, where we provide the deal, the funding, and the mentoring for the whole process. And then another thing we're focusing on this year is we're focusing on cash flowing properties and cash flowing blue collar markets. And we're creating notes. We're taking small dollar IRAs. We're putting them on the deal in the first position, getting them secured to the property. We're creating a seller finance note on the back end as somebody that wants to be a homeowner that a bank won't qualify.
Right.
We're doing that in the cash flowing markets. And, I just want to see how many winners I can make in every transaction.
That's awesome that you say that. I know that, there's so many takeaways just from today's day 2. We got one more day, but I have so many takeaways, and to kind of touch on what you mentioned. I've, mentioned it and said it before, but not to the extent of what Jeff said. One of the things that he said today is, he said, how many people do we impact whenever we're in the business of flipping a property, lending, or whatever the case may be? And I never thought about it to the extent that he explained it is, if you're doing a rehab and you go to Home Depot and you spend $50,000, how many people, companies do you impact in a positive way by buying lumber, buying nails, right? All the way from people working at Home Depot, title companies, insurance agents, the people that make the nails. I mean, what is the number of people that you impact on just one transaction?
Yeah, that's the secret sauce to this business is that, you can't be greedy, right? You want to make as much as you want to make. And as much as the world gives you, great, right? You're using your talent and your ability, right? But you don't want to do it at the expense of others. You want to do it for the benefit of others. And it's a slippery slope because this business you can get greedy real quick.
Yeah.
And we've seen it time and time again. But yeah, like you said, the impact just goes down. It's your contractors, it's your contractors' families, it's the end buyer. They're getting we focus in my market, the houses I flip are the first time home buyer under
Right.
median prices, so I'm giving an opportunity to these people to have a clean, safe house. It just makes sense, right? It's something that I can feel good about and I can sleep at night. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I know that you're actively right now buying, and you're a resource, like you said. You're not only going to be buying properties in your market, but you're going to offer lending, mentorship. Where can people find out more about, kind of what you offer?
yeah, so I'm forrestbuyshouses.com and you can see me at Forrest.McGhee on Instagram. Forrest and Dealer McGhee, my wife and I have a Facebook, but I'm also dealmakerrichmond.com.
Yeah. So he actually hosts the Dealmaker Virginia meetup that you host once a month, right? Is it the first Thursday, or when?
We
When
do
is
the
your?
first Thursday of every month in Richmond. And it was something that, Jim created last year with Jeff Watson.
Right.
They created this licensing agreement. So it's open to any city in the area that's not already taken, where you can, bring the Dealmaker brand to a local level, get the benefits of everything that we have in Dealmaker, which is, discounts, preferred partners as far as, vendors and stuff. And I mean, we're saving like 15% at Lowe's.
Wow.
Right? I mean, that's better than a military discount,
Yeah.
right? So, there's a lot of benefits that are involved with this. If you guys, want to plug into a group like this, I highly encourage it. But, we're Dealmaker Richmond. I've been given the opportunity to lead that group. And it's a fantastic group. We provide a lot of value. A lot of groups you go to, it's about the networking, but we're
Yeah.
about the networking and the education,
Yeah.
right? We want to teach people to do this right and, make the minimum amount of mistakes possible and be ethical while we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that, I've heard about, the Dealmaker Group, and I know some of the people. I know we just had our first meetup in McKinney with Felipe that hosts that out in McKinney. And that was the first one, but, a 3-day event sponsored by, that's hosted by Dealmaker. It's my first one. I will say, I could just tell right away, this is a special group. And I could just tell by the level of people that are here. I know we got my good friend here, Joe, that, I'm just incredibly grateful to be here with Joe, that, is just a special person. I know that's how we've connected.
I've been trying to get these two together for a long, long time. I've done a lot of business with both of them. When I was new at this, I was a lender to Forrest, and Forrest, first off, is very honest and forthright. That loan was a tremendous blessing to me personally to have lucked out with him. I've learned so much from him.
Thank you.
I think I'm done talking. I'm going to exit the picture since I interrupted you.
No, no, no. I mean, this is what it's about. This is exactly why we come to these events, to have these incredible, conversations and helping each other out. And sometimes as we have these conversations, that aha moment comes of whatever you're looking to do, right? By having these incredible relationships. So I'm grateful to, be able to meet Forrest and Joe as well. That, Joe is a very kind, and the honest to truth definition of what a go-giver is. Every opportunity he comes in in contact with anybody on the street at any situation, all I've seen Joe do is how can I give this person something of value, whether it's a good conversation, advice, mentorship, guidance, whatever the case may be, not even just in real estate setting, but just in life. So I've also learned an incredible amount from Joe. I know in the short time I've been learning a lot from Forrest as well, and that's why we encourage you to come to these events. In reality, it's almost silly the cost of some of these events compared to some other things that we spend our resources on, right? I mean, Christmas just passed. I mean, how many Christmases do we spend on things that you've forgotten about, things that you've bought for your friends and family, and these events are going to impact your family for generations to come. So I'm really excited to continue to come to these events and encourage all you guys that have thought about getting started in real estate, that have made mistakes, that are scared about the market, get plugged into a great community like Dealmaker. I know he's out in Virginia or whatever the market, they're all across the nation, or just a real estate group. There's a lot of great groups out there. So I don't know if there's any last thoughts that you guys want to share with,
I I have one thought. I'm a former engineer, and I would talk about real estate and investing with other engineers. It is amazing and shocking to me how many of them would tell me, yeah, I've been thinking about doing something like that. And I would invite them to an event like this. None of them would ever come. And that, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
So one of the presenters today, the last thought, right? One of the presenters today was Chuck Glover. He started rap lending 5 years ago when he was 70. Right? It's never too late until you're put in the ground. It's never too late to start. Right? Never done real estate before. Started rap lending, and his phrase, his catch tag is be in the room.
be in the room. Yep.
Be in the room, right? You got to show up, you got to make friends, you got to talk to people, and you do that, and sooner or later, you'll get something.
And that's the reality, is you can't make an excuse on why you're not taking action or why you can't become a successful real estate investor. Chuck Glover, 70 years old, right? Some people may say, well, I'm too old. I'm not,
And he started with nothing.
he started with very little to almost no money, right? I mean, think about that. Imagine saying, hey, I'm going to start a business tomorrow, lending money, and I have very little money to lend, right? It's not about what you have immediately, but the resources and relationships that you can meet and find out, and ideas in this group. So that's just one example, right? So if you don't have any capital, there's no excuses. If you're too young, we just saw on stage right before this day two, there was 4 or 5 people in their 18, 19, 20 years old, right, getting started in this business as well. And they may say, well, I'm too young, I don't have the knowledge, but it's all an excuse. You can go out there and make it happen. If you're an engineer, we encourage you to come out to the events. It's going to be life-changing. And I'm excited to see everybody at the next event and meet all of you guys. So we'll make sure to put Forrest's information and his contact information, and how you can connect with myself and Joe. So appreciate you guys. And I know we're going to have dinner.
Thank you.
And stay in touch.